During the summer months, a lot of people start or end their day with a run. But the recent attempted abduction of a runner in Bridgewater has many people concerned about safety. Carolee McGrath sat down with Easthampton School Resource Officer to hear how you can keep yourself and your children safe when you go out for some exercise.
So we both watched that video of what happened to that runner in Bridgewater. Your initial reaction of what went down there?
Initially, I thought she did a great job of refusing to be a victim, and that's like a big thing when it comes to situations like that, is the absolute refusal to be a victim and doing what you have to stop what's happening and get away.
Right. But she must have been panicked, but she didn't have time to think about it, because when you say refusal to be a victim, like, nobody wants to be a victim, but she acted immediately before he was able to pull her into that car.
She did, and she fought back, and eventually he ran away because he realized he was in for a fight.
And is that something that you think that maybe people don't realize, that if you do put up that fight, or if you do, shout or make a lot of noise, that person who's trying to do you harm will be kind of thrown off?
Yeah, that's exactly what you should do. It surprises him, throws him off his game, and then he becomes in a kind of a panic mode, especially in a neighborhood like she was running in, where there could potentially be people out there. And yelling and screaming will get those people's attention and draw attention to him, and that's exactly what they don't want.
Right, and so you see a lot of people, it's a summertime, it's hot out, a lot of people are running, a lot of teenagers are running, getting ready for, high school tryouts in the fall. You're a dad. What's your recommendation when people are out there?
As far as when they're running, they should run with friends, if they have friends to run with. If they don't, to stay in populated areas. Don't go off on trails through the woods or bike paths that a lot of people aren't on, stuff like that.
And that's really because people wouldn't hear you if you had a problem?
Yeah, and you're an easier target in those areas. There aren't people around. They don't want to be seen by a lot of people when they try to abduct someone. So they try to get in isolated spots or in dark areas. If you're running at night, stay in light areas and things like that. Just be safe and know your surroundings. And
what about headphones? Because I know a lot of people do run with headphones, which could be dangerous also with cars coming as well.
Yeah, if you're running on the streets, that's a personal preference. I mean, if you can run with one headphone in, then you're better off an earbud. Right. So you can still hear what's going on, but, get your pace while you're running to the music or whatever.
One thing I thought that was really amazing with this woman is that she had her cell phone, which, is not everybody likes to run with a cell phone, but she took a picture of the plate as this guy was going away, which is incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible, because most people in that flight or fight response, they get tunnel vision, they get auditory exclusion, so they don't think of things like that. So she was really on point by thinking to do that and actually carrying through with it.
And so so she's an adult, and obviously, we're so happy that that situation turned out that way. When you think about kids who are approached by cars, because that happens, often, all across the country. I think there was a situation in Central Mass not too long ago where a car was approaching kids at different points. What do you recommend that parents tell their children when they're walking home from school or walking to a friend's house?
Yeah, they should walk with other friends, stay on main roads, don't cut through alleys or the woods or things like that. If they are approached, if they don't know the person, they should know that immediately. It's just basically run away. And if they are grabbed or approached personally, they should do whatever they have to. Scream, yell, bite, kick. Yell, "This isn't my dad," or "This isn't my mom." Just try to draw attention from people around. And there are resources that parents can go online and look up, like Stranger Danger, and I think there's another one called Kids Spots or something like that. But if you just Google Stranger Danger, there'll be all kinds of things you could look up, and there are parent tips and things to teach their children.
I think one thing that I find difficult, and even when I'm talking to my friends, and as I mentioned, you're a father, having this conversation with your kids is horrifying, because your kids will say, well, what do I do if he grabs me? Well, you fight. Well, what if he says, what if he threatens me? What if he threatens to take my life? you keep fighting? I mean, these are difficult conversations to have, but necessary for sure. So what do you say when your kid says, well, Mom, what if he says, you know, I'm going to do something to you?
Well, I personally, I think that the percentage of kids that are abducted that are never returned is very high. So it's that moment that they need to get out of, no matter what's said or the perpetrator says. Just fight, bite, kick, scream, yell. They don't want that attention, and just don't give up.
Right. I think the other thing that's interesting is the technology that we have. We had talked about people running with their phones, but with all of these different running apps, you can also track where you ran. And I know some, you know, I wouldn't call myself a runner, but I jog, and I've jogged long distances, and you're proud and you're on a runner's high and, hey, I just did 13 miles. But is it smart to post your route, especially if you're giving any sort of information?
Probably not if you're wherever you're posting it is wide open for everybody to see. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being proud and wanting to share that with your friends and family, but do that. Share it with your friends and family, not the world.
Right. So you just got to be careful about always being out there. And so I guess the final thing is, you know, again, for teenagers especially who are out there, make sure you're running with somebody.
Absolutely.
Not on an isolated road, because we've seen that as well, where there have been abductions a few years back, tragic abductions, you know, in isolated areas.